everybody, it's K9 with ETX Tactical and Survival, and today we're going to be doing a video on how to stencil and paint multicam. Now this can be used on anything from your firearm cases, or anything that you want to paint. Today we're going to be working on a project that a gentleman came to me and asked if I would paint his center console for his vehicle multicam. So I'm going to show you how to do the stencils, how to apply them, and then the different steps to eventually come out to a full product. So let's dive in and get started. Stencils itself, you only need a few things. You need wax paper, painter's tape, preferably the wide ones, just so you have more to cover and less waste, something to mark, write, or draw with, and scissors. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a sheet of wax paper. The reason why we use wax paper is because it allows us to be able to stick our painter's tape on to make the stencils and be able to peel them off real easy. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay the painter's tape in strips across. The ends don't have to be perfect, because in the end you're going to square it off and cut it off. Let's make this easy and use the scissors. We do this all the way around until you come out with a sheet like this. Now, the next step is actually designing your stencils. Now, you can go on eBay or online and print out the actual stencil shapes, but this is your project, so be creative. I mean, you kind of have a general idea. I look at the multicam clothing that I have, and I come up with patterns as such. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to draw these different patterns on there. And what you want to do is your first layer, which is going to be your real light, almost white on your multicam, you're going to do those fairly small, because they're going to be spaced out and they're not really big pieces. So you're just going to sit here and draw this, you know, mix it up. It don't have to all be the same. Like I said, get you a picture of multicam so you can kind of see how the different blotches and patterns are. That way it gives you an idea what to work for, how to make it. And you want some fairly medium, couple small blotches, and you're going to continue that until you reach the whole entire page. Just like with the light white, the brown also, you want to kind of keep the same type of patterns. You don't want it too, you want small, you want medium, but nothing big. It's a little bit more predominant than the white, but it's not as much as your main colors, your fading colors. So this is it right here. I just did the top part for now, and the next step is actually cutting them out. So to make it easier, we'll cut the excess off and set it to the side for a little bit later. And then basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors or an X-Acto knife, your box blade, anything that you can to cut these out. And you're just going to one by one follow your lines and cut them out. No different than what you did when you were in kindergarten or first grade. If anything, this gives you an excuse to be like a kid again. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. So as we follow this through, we're going to cut it out. And the wax paper also kind of gives it a little bit sturdy stability when you're trying to cut it out, compared to just pulling a piece of tape off, drawing on the tape, and then trying to cut just the tape itself. So there you have it, your first stencil. When you go to apply it, all we need to do is just peel off the wax paper and stick it on. Okay, the first step you want to do after you prep your item is you want to put your base coat, which is your white. Some people start off with the primer, run it with primer, and then put their base coat. Excuse me. This is actually an almond by Rust-Oleum. A lot of the colors that is in Multicam you can actually find at your local hardware store or Walmart. That's where I get most of mine, just because the prices are better for it. Alright, these are the colors that I'm using. It's a mixture between Rust-Oleum and Krylon. So basically what I did is they wanted an OD for their hidden compartments, and then the Multicam for the rest. So the first thing I did was I sprayed it with the almond. Then what we're going to do is we'll take that particular, the stencils that we made, and we will actually adhere it onto this item. Now, once you get your stencils placed where you want, then what you'll do is the next coat. And I've already gotten that far on another piece. This is a type of one type of brown. You want a darker brown for your first set of dirt colors. And on here throughout I've placed my stencils and then painted it brown. So then what I'm going to do now is take the stencils and add more onto it, overlaying the brown. The reason why we do this is in the end, when we start peeling all these stencils off, it's going to show the different layers stacked onto each other. Okay, so here you have it with the stencils on. Again, this is the part that, this is the second step. Once you put the almond down, and then your stencils, and then your brown, then you do more stencils. So now what we're going to do, instead of doing a straight color, is we're going to take a light green and a dark, or a light brown, and we're going to do it in stripes, real light, diagonal one way. That's going to be your third. Then once you put the larger stencils down, then you're going to do the exact same thing but a different shade of those two colors, and go the opposite way and diagonal lines. Alright, for this third step of starting to do your shading colors, the first thing I'm going to use is what we call, I don't know if you can see that, but brown boots. It's actually by Krylon, and I like to use this pistol grip because, well, it just makes it easier and you don't get all over your hands, and it's a smoother spray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a diagonal pattern. I'm going to make sure that I cover my area, cover the stencils. Let me step over here real quick. And I just want to do it real lightly. It don't have to be dark because you're just fading it. It's going to be a background fade. Okay. The second one we're going to do is the next shade of green. And what I've chosen is Italian Olive, again by Krylon, sorry. In the areas that I don't have the brown, I'll then come back with the olive. And I'll just, again, real light, quick passes, because it's just a shading. That's the purpose of it. And I'm going to let that sit there until it dries. Usually about 20 to 30 minutes between each layer that you do. Okay, here we have it, the large stencils on there after we've done the diagonal between the green and the brown. So the next step, which is the final step, is we're going to do the same thing but a lighter shade of each of those two colors and go the opposite way. Once that dries, then it will be time to reveal the final product. Alright, the last spray is done. The two different shades are on there. You can see between the light green and the very light tan. What we'll do is we'll let this dry, and from there then we'll do what they call the reveal, which will peel off layer by layer, and you'll start to see the multicam come to life. Once it's done, then we'll take a clear coat and a protective coat and spray over it just to kind of give it a little bit of shine and keep everything protected. And there you have it, the finished product. Once you've peeled all the different layers of your stencils off, you'll start seeing it come to life and the different pieces form. And now there's one piece. I just have 8 more pieces to go so I can put it back together for them. But this is how you do stenciling of multicam.